My teenage daughter asked me to drive her to a study group, but when I followed her, I discovered why she'd been so secretive for months. For 3 months, Sarah had been asking for rides to Jessica's house every Tuesday and Thursday. Always the same story, a P chemistry study group back by 9. She'd climb into my car with her backpack, earbuds in, staring out the window. "How's the studying going?" I'd ask. "Fine," she'd mumble. "Jessica's mom makes good snacks." Something felt off. Sarah had never cared about chemistry. Her grades were decent, but she wasn't the type to voluntarily spend extra hours on homework. Plus, she'd started wearing makeup to these study sessions. Foundation, lip gloss, the works. When I asked about her study partners, she'd get vague. "Oh, you know, different people from class." But I'd never heard her mention Jessica before these sessions started. Last Tuesday, my curiosity won. I dropped Sarah off as usual, watching her disappear into a modest blue house. Then I parked around the corner and waited. 15 minutes later, a car pulled up. Sarah emerged from the house, but she wasn't alone. A boy followed her out, then another, and another. 4 teenage boys, all significantly older than my 16-year-old daughter. My stomach dropped. This wasn't a study group. I watched them pile into the car, Sarah in the passenger seat, laughing at something the driver said. The car headed toward downtown. Against every rational thought, I followed. They stopped at the community center. I parked across the street and watched them enter through a side door. Above the entrance, a small sign read, "Peer Support Groups, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, mind racing. Drug addiction, pregnancy, eating disorder. Every worst-case scenario played through my head. Finally, I couldn't stand it. I walked across the street and peered through a window. What I saw made me freeze. Sarah sat in a circle with about 15 other teenagers. Some I recognized from her school. Others looked older, maybe college-aged. She was speaking, her hands moving expressively. The others listened intently. No one looked high or troubled or dangerous. Then I saw the banner on the wall, LGBTQ plus youth support group. Everything clicked. The secrecy, the makeup, the nervousness. The older study partners who were actually her support network. I returned to my car and cried, not from disappointment or fear, but from guilt. My daughter had felt she couldn't tell me something this important about herself. At 9 o'clock, Sarah emerged with her group. They hugged goodbye, real, meaningful embraces. She looked happier than I'd seen her in months. When she got in the car, I almost confessed to following her. Instead, I asked, "How was studying?" "Really good," she said. For the first time in months, she sounded genuine. We're learning a lot about ourselves. That night, I researched PFLAG. I read stories from other parents. I prepared myself for a conversation I should have made space for months ago. The next morning, over breakfast, I took a breath. "Sarah, I want you to know that I love you exactly as you are. And if there's anything you want to tell me, anything at all, I'm here to listen." She looked up from her cereal, eyes wide. "Anything? Anything." She was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Mom, I think I might be gay." I reached across the table and took her hand. "Thank you for trusting me with that." We talked for 2 hours. She told me about the support group, about figuring herself out, about being afraid I'd react badly. I apologized for not creating a safe space sooner. That Thursday, I drove her to her study group again. This time, when she got out of the car, she turned back. "Mom, the group has family sessions once a month. If you want to come sometime." I smiled. "I'd love that." Sometimes the best discoveries happen when you stop looking for problems and start looking for understanding.